Welcome, Bess. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Cathy.
Have you got your karakia?
Ai. E te atua manaaki tia mātou, arahina mātou o e roto i a mātou mahi i tēnei rā. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, look after us and care for us. Guide us in the work that we're doing on this day. Amen.
Amen, mate. Thank you, Bess. That was lovely.
It's
It was
all right.
lovely. Now, what would you like to discuss today? What's
Well,
pressing?
I've got a little bit of an issue at work, and I just thought I'd bring that along today and see how we can get some resolution for it, or just give me some ideas, or maybe I will come up with some ideas just talking to you, Cathy. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a problem in terms of going to work very early in the morning so that I can get paperwork done and things done before everybody arrives at 8:30. So I'm usually there at 7 after the gym. And there's a work colleague who quite often comes into my office and just wants to chat about, well, lately it's been about personal issues. So,
Is that her personal issues or
yes,
your hers? Okay.
So, thinking about, we go into the lounge because it's bigger, it's roomier, and there's nobody around, and we're having a cup of tea as we talk. And I think sometimes it's only going to be about 20 minutes, but it can be a whole hour. It's like I'm counselling her.
Okay.
So I guess I can't understand at this point when a partner is very, very dissatisfied with their relationship and unhappy, and they put the partner down, and it's quite nasty sometimes, but maybe more, I hear a lot of disappointment in the voice.
Disappointment
Yes.
in what way?
Disappointment in the fact that the relationship could be disintegrating.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So
does this, she comes to you, sits in your office, and
Mm.
quite often you go into the lounge and
have a cup of tea
and
together.
have a cup of tea.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we are not actually yet working.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually our spare time.
Right.
But I just take that extra hour. I like that extra hour to be able to get things done. But I'm the type of person also that if anybody's got a problem, I will sit down and let them talk.
Okay.
So, this last week is the first time I had the strength to say, "What are you afraid of?" And I was told, I'm afraid that it's all going to come to failure, she described it. And I asked, what does that mean? And she said, well, I've got this letter that I've got to give him, and it's either going to make us or break us. And I think it's going to break us. And she said, I can't afford to leave him. I can't afford to not be with him. So I asked what she wanted to do, and then she came up with the idea of her daughter has just sold her house, and the daughter has said to her, well, Mum, if it comes to that, we can buy a house together. So I asked her if she does she like the thought of living with her daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Not really, she said.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. This won't be my own house.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be our house together.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a matter of interest, I just asked, well, what is it different? How is it different to a house with your partner and a house with your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't give me a clear explanation,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the thing is that this person is rubbishing her husband, but when he walks through the door,
Mm-hmm.
she changes. And it's, hello, dear. Yes, so
So she changes
from
from
being
the
aggressive about her
right
husband.
to you personally.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that evoke in you? What does that bring up
Mm.
in you when you see that
Mm.
that change?
I suppose for me, I have thought, what am I supposed to get from this? Is she is the person saying something to me that she can talk about because I'm the only one she can talk to about it,
Mm-hmm.
or is it just venting off and I don't know. I really don't know.
So you're confused?
Yes, I am.
Confused around her
Mm.
need to do that with you?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Need, yeah.
And where that puts you
Mm.
as a result of that need. Yeah.
And that need for her
Mm-hmm.
makes me weary of seeing the behaviour change, like the very aggressive description of the partner, and then to me, and then seeing when she sees the partner, it's hello, dear. Oh, dear, would you like a cup of tea?
Right.
You know?
So what do you do with that weariness? You said you're weary.
Well, it's making me weary of the fact that we are working together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit of mistrust.
Mistrust, yeah, yeah.
Like, I do trust her with some sort of things, but it's only with the lowercase t.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to trust people with a capital T because I'm not a trusting person.
Right.
People have to earn their trust with me.
Okay. But you like to trust with the capital T, you see, the big trust. So with this person, it's a little trust. And how does that sit with you with just having the little trust instead of the big trust?
Uncomfortable sometimes.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to particular clients, when we have client case discussions, which is not very good. But then again, confidentiality is really important to me.
Yeah.
So I'm careful with what I say about clients too, because
in what way, Bess?
I'm careful if a client has told me very personal things, unless it's absolutely necessary and relevant, I will only talk to my manager.
Okay.
Otherwise,
so I'm hearing that you're editing.
Yes,
would that
I
be
am.
right?
Yes.
If I just threw that word out there?
Yeah. I like that word.
Would you use that word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Editing.
Yeah. Very carefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the same with court work. When I go to court, the next day I'm asked, oh, how did it go? Was so-and-so there? Well, I don't need to be careful there because it's going to be in the paper. But then again, I've also got to question, but I don't need to be the one to tell.
All right. Yeah.
You can read it in the paper.
Yeah.
Because it might get to somebody and say, I only know this because of my supervision. You know, it could still go to the wrong person with whoever you mention it to. Oh, well, Bess said. you know.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
if it's going to be in the paper.
So does this, I'm not sure what she's going to do with the information I give her. Is that right? Yeah. That ties into the little trust versus the big trust. So how much, even if I could tell you, do I tell you?
That's still...
Where do you go with that?
Yes. If I tell you, how did you put that?
How much, if I could tell you, how much would I tell you?
Oh, yes, well.
That sort of seems to underpin,
Yeah,
from your discussion, sitting before the job starts, she's giving you this, and then when the job is operational during work time, there's still that same sort of, how much do I say, how much?
See, again, I'd be editing.
Yeah. And if you take that editing...
Which is not very good, is it? When you have to edit. Or is it okay?
What do you think? Do you think, does it work for you?
Yes, it does.
It does?
Yeah. Because I will only provide the relevant information.
Yeah.
I don't need to go into detail. Yes. Or I have said once or twice, I have said, "Oh, you'll see it in the paper."
And when you do say that, and you say you edit and you stick with that, how do you feel with that?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first time I said it, in terms of other things as well, like, oh, I have to think about that, or it was hard at first because I'm a talker, and but when I learn people's behaviour, I adapt to that. I apply myself in a way that keeps me safe. Right.
Yeah. So when you say, when you learn people's behaviour...
When I observe people.
When you observe people's behaviour, so you're watching for certain signs, and hearing for things, and sort of like a wee antenna, And when you do that with this woman, what sort of signs and things are you getting from her?
Maybe a cold. Oh well, a shoulder nudge sort of thing.
And what? How would you describe that? I don't.
Oh well.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So, and it's not only with clients; it's also with staff from her and volunteers. Yes. Right. I find it very hard, and I'm trying to support the staff as well as because I'm middle management, and I'm trying to support the staff as well as the volunteers. And it's not easy sometimes because I hear myself saying the same thing. Oh gosh, I haven't seen that before, or that's very new for me, hearing that, But then again, I'm not working in that area. So I suppose you would see that, which I say to her. Then I'd say that's very interesting.
So you're in between the two areas.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're also, from there, you're working out, from what I hear you saying, you're working out a way in which to be with this other person who sort of seems to float.
Yes. Yeah.
Between, the areas.
Yes. Is that a good idea?
For a person to float.
Yes.
Well, how does it fit with you and the way you work? If she's floating, how does that work with the way in which you function?
I suppose for me, it's about being mindful of who the person is now, and it's taken a year to find out, I suppose. She's only been there a year. But it's just a matter of taking into account what's important here, you know. Can I let that go, or why is it sitting here on my shoulder like the black dog, you know?
Yeah.
Why is it sitting there?
Yeah.
Because I noticed 2 weeks ago when things must have been really, really hard in her relationship, she was hardly talking. And then when she talked to me last week, I did let her know that I had picked up that there was something going on. But I wasn't asked, what did I pick up, or how did you know? It wasn't brought up. So I just said I knew that something was happening. And I just thought that you needed to process it. So, and I was right, because last week was when she was able to talk.
But when she's able to talk, you mentioned this thing, you went like this, and you said the black dog.
Yes, meaning that for...
It seems pretty heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because when she was non-communicative, and also quite challenging with how she responded to several things.
Challenging in what way?
Why was something done the way it was done when it's been done that way for many, many years? There was something else I can't remember. Yes, it was said in a very forceful way, and to me it was like it should have been done her way. Sort of, you know. Yeah. It didn't really do my head in, but the thing is, I thought that's another thing I've picked up with the behaviour change. Is when she's down, she changes. She's not
right.
Yeah. So, and I have seen that in the last year probably about 3 times now.
Right. Have you felt any other times where you mentioned the term "do your head in"? You know, that sounds like it's really resonating and going around in your head quite a lot. Can you describe that and how that sits with you?
Yeah. When I mentioned when it didn't do my head in, I meant that I didn't stress about it, I didn't let it sit there, and I just let it go.
And what's the letting go like?
It's like, okay, she's not in the mood, she's in the mood today, I will leave it, she's not talking, so I don't need to own that.
And you don't need to own that.
No. I can give that back to her.
You give it back to her.
Oh, 1 or 2 things actually I had to process because, I did hold it.
Right. Yeah.
So I did go up to her and I thought, right, I've got to calm myself. And I did say, actually, it was my choice to not apply for the Ministry of Health's travel allowance because I knew that you would get more for petrol allowance. I made that choice.
So you're telling her more information. You thought about it, you processed it, and you thought, okay, I need to clarify.
Because she said, why didn't, work and income no? And I said, yes, they don't know that part though. So, and I can't remember what the other one was. So I had to justify a couple of things. And, she's the other one, I know, she just said, I never thought of it like that.
She said back to you?
Yes.
Right. I never thought of it like that.
But it was also like, okay. And it wasn't like, thank you for explaining that or tell it. And I didn't need to.
Yeah.
But even though I didn't need to, I didn't let it go any further because I'd said what I needed to say.
Okay.
I just had my eyes open to the fact that when this particular person is feeling down, she does change.
Right, she does change. So you've noticed that in yourself. That
and it makes me change.
Okay.
Yes,
makes
you're
you
right.
Change. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you said before too, Bess, that there is an exception to this when you can actually go, hang on, you know what?
I don't need that.
I don't need that. So sometimes it's almost like when you process, when you're thinking about it, you come up with all these alternatives
I do.
yourself. Yeah.
So, but you know, it does make our offices have changed, and the main office now is in the lounge, which I think is it's a personal thing, and I think it's quite inappropriate,
right?
Because when clients come to the front door, they see a desk in the room, and I have had a couple come in at the same time. They just got their times wrong because somebody was in town earlier than expected, so they came in. So I did take one into the interview room, but the other one was sitting there, and she did say to me afterwards that she felt uncomfortable even though she was drinking her tea or coffee, because the office lady was standing over the jigsaw thingy, not talking, and I just felt so, but for me it's mainly confidentiality.
Does that go back to the little T, the big T?
Yes.
Thing again?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So I just think some people don't like changes, or they don't like changes straight away, or they need to get used to the changes. But my big issue is with where the office is now. It's not confidential. Right. And it might be just me.
Yeah. If that were to change, if we were to throw out there with her magic wand and God coming down and helping us all out, what would it look like? You know, what would the setup look like? Because it sounds to me that although it's a interrelationship situation between you and this other person, it's also a structural, practical thing as well.
Practical?
As in the layout of the building, the layout of where the lounge is, where your office is.
Practical? Well, I think you're just doing something good. You're trying to do the best out of something that's a little bit difficult, or a little bit difficult. I will use that word because of the layout of the building. So, but for the office where the desk is, if it had a round table type thing to hide the desk and
like a little wall type.
I think that would work. I don't know. It might be just too open for when people come in through the door. But that might be just me. I mean, what would the response be if a survey was put out there? Do you like the office? But of course, you're not going to put a survey out there.
But it sounds like it's all, meshing into a similar dynamic, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Not only is it the relationship between you and this other person, but the fact that there's fluid. Would that be the right word? Sort of fluid boundaries that,
Too open.
Yeah. So what would it look like if it were different? How would you make it to make it suitable for you?
That's the question, isn't it? That is a big question, because when I think of the layout of our rooms, it's not really practical. However, we have a beautiful new building across the road, and if that was at all possible to use for community ministries, that would have made a big difference. Yeah. Or even for the officers to go out there. Yeah. So, but it's not going to be, because apparently the wires for the phones and that sort of thing, it wasn't going to work. Okay. So that would have been ideal. Community ministries. But it's not likely to be. So we just try to do our best with what we've got.
Yeah.
So when there's changes in the building, at least we're in it's a consensus decision. So, not like before, it was just go ahead and do it without talking to anybody. And we just have to do what we can to make things work.
Okay. And doing what you can to make things work affects you in what way?
In a positive way. Yeah. Because even though things are not always the best, you have to make the best of it.
Right. Right.
You do, because otherwise you'll get up in the morning and think, oh, I don't want to go to work today. Because we didn't make the best of it and it's a mess or chaos.
Yeah.
So it's no good.
Yeah. So you're making the best of it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And just be positive,
Yeah.
Because that's, at the end of the day, you're there to provide the best you can to the clients.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They don't know how you feel about the office or the building or that sort of thing.
Right.
They come to see you.
Yes.
But if they knew all the disheartened things you might be feeling, you'll be turning them away.
Yes.
Because they can feel it in you,
Yes. So you're saying that there's a resiliency within you that...
Yes, there is.
Yeah. I really get that distinct, like a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You're a bigger picture person. That even though there's stuff going on behind the scenes, there is a focus with you that when the client comes in,
put that aside.
Deal
with your client.
Yeah, because I heard you say that before too. When it works well with this person, it's just like, you know what?
Put it over there.
Put it over there. Yeah.
But I'm still.
And when it's over there, okay, we imagine what would you call that stuff that's over there? If we get all the stuff that's problematic and we put it over there, what would we call it?
The dead weeds.
The dead weeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it over there. Yeah.
Put the dead weeds over there. Okay.
Let them compost.
Let them compost. So the dead weeds can become...
Yes, make good compost.
Make good compost. There's use out of the dead weeds.
Yes.
But there we go. So you turned it right round on its head. Yes. Yes. That's wonderful.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah. Because like I heard you say too, Bess, is that not every environment is going to be one, that is perfect. That is crystal.
Yeah.
And that you said
you've got to make the best of it.
You've
got to adapt to it.
That's
You've got to apply yourself to it.
And
sometimes, it's just not easy, but then again, keep on doing it and just pray,
Right.
and focus on why you're working for the Salvation Army. It's because you're there for the clients.
Okay. Focus. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
And is that focus associated with the prayer that you were mentioning as well? Right.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you pray and you get this new focus, where does that put you in your mind?
Oh, yeah.
And
It gives
your
me
ihi
yeah.
and your
My wairua, when it's fed, it gives me clarity.
clarity.
Yeah. I so believe in the power of prayer.
Power of prayer. Mm.
It's very, very, very important to me.
Mm.
Because there are times when you may have not had a good night or a good weekend because you've had some not good news, that sort of thing, and it's still carrying with you. You're still carrying it, I mean.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't even have to be that. You've had a good day, and yet you can wake up in the morning and you think, why am I feeling like this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So is it the weather?
Yes.
Is it the full moon?
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
So,
and you wake up with this sort of sense, this heavy. Yeah.
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 So, right, you've got to just pray. Lord,
Okay.
thank you for my sleep, and I'm going to have a good day, Lord. I am feeling not as bright as I usually do. So, and you take that with you, and the Lord is there.
Right. So that again is a great support for you. Yeah. That He's walking alongside you in a spiritual and a physical walk.
Not carrying me.
Not carrying you, working alongside you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah. And does that allow you, as Bess, to say, let's put that stuff in the weeds?
Exactly.
Let's in the old weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those weeds are going to make beautiful compost.
That's right.
Eventually.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Very important to me because I love my gardens.
Absolutely. Yes. I see that gardening metaphor. Yeah. It's a beautiful metaphor. Yeah. Because out of rubbish that we think is rubbish, we perceive
goodness.
There's goodness. There's actually goodness in it.
Yes. Oh, yes. God's amazing.
He is. Yes. Quite true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm happy at work. But I'm mindful at work as well. But my main objective is to ensure that I'm there to provide a service with good practice to the clients.
Right.
And in the meantime, I have to take care of myself.
Okay, that's your plan?
And my plan is I have a very good plan. I have a very good wraparound self-care plan.
Good. Wow.
Yes.
Good for you. Yes. Would you like to tell me what this wraparound self-care plan
I
is?
try to eat well, but then I slide quite often.
Are we talking chocolates? Oh, I hear you.
Big portions of food or whatever.
Yes.
And I like my bed. I like sleeping.
Okay.
And I do have really good undisturbed nights.
Okay, that's great.
It is. I'm lucky now. Yeah, I never used to.
Yeah.
And I'm mad on dancing, and I love my guitar, and I'm trying to learn the saxophone.
Wow.
And
okay.
if I want to pray and talk to the Lord and talk to the bees and the birds, now it's warmer, I'm in my garden.
You're in the garden.
And I do have a beautiful garden.
Yes, yes.
Very hard work, but I find that putting my hands in the soil, touching the plants, it's just grounding.
Grounding. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have got some good friends.
Yes.
My whānau.
Right. My whānau. Very important.
Oh.
I can see it in your face. Your face just lights up when you talk about your whānau.
Yes, and I've just had my sisters down from Auckland.
Right.
So I've learned 2 or 3 things from the Bible that I couldn't understand before. Because one of my sisters is a pastor.
Okay.
And also I've learned the difference between prophesying and giving your testimony. And I've also learnt for the first time in all my old age. Well, I'm not that old anymore.
As old as you feel, Bess.
That the Bible is poetic. That's why I don't I understand things, because it's poetic. And one thing we were talking about, and I can't remember what it is right now, we were talking about, and the whoosh of the wind, and something else, which is poetic.
Oh, yes.
And I said, what? All I felt was the wind nearly blew me over because of the whoosh. Yeah. And she said, my sister said, no, Bess, that's his voice, that's his breath.
Oh,
that's what it means.
Okay.
I said, well, you see, I'm reading. She said, because you're not thinking with your heart, you're thinking with your intelligent brain.
Yes.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
So I've got I think it's Ezekiel, I can't remember, the whoosh of the wind. Well, I thought because the wind is so strong here.
Yes, you're taking it as a very practical. Yes.
Did you know it was his voice or his breath? Because I did. I just said, it's a strong wind.
Yes.
She said, no, it's thin.
Yes.
Isn't
I
that
am
beautiful?
of things in
Isn't
all
that
things.
beautiful?
Yes.
Well, that's what she means. The Bible is very poetic.
And so this is another way in which Bess gets filled up.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, yes.
You've got.
I learned about the dry bones. I just thought every time, because we talked about my sister that died, and she said, my sister that passed away, she told me she loves that Ezekiel, whatever it is. So she read it out to me. This is like 10 years ago. She read it out to me, and I thought, how can you talk about that? It's all about dead bones, dead people. 10 years later, another sister who's younger than I am, she explained. And she said, no, it's the spirit. You're spiritually, you're down. You're down there. So you need to feed that spirit.
Yeah, to lift it up and make it whole.
Why didn't they explain that to me when we're having a sermon? I just got so excited. I said, and she said, and that's how you were last year, Bess, because your mana was just way down there because of the bullying.
Yeah.
Look at you now. You're excited because you've learnt about the dry bones.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Yes, from that song by, is it Toby Mac, I think? It's called Dry Bones. Yes, it's one of the modern Christian songs.
Oh,
Dry
really?
Bones. Yes.
I'll have to look it up on
it's a very good song. Initially, when I heard it, I remember thinking, dry bones, that's,
dead.
Dead and brittle.
Well, your spirit is dead.
Yes. But it's talking about renewal of faith and renewal of self. Yeah. And again, this sits well with the way in which, the stuff that happens at work for you. You know, and you come and you've got your whānau here and you've got your Bible.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that speak to you?
I believe in everything. My spirituality also encompasses everything living. The trees, the soil, everything.
Yeah.
So
how does that sit now with you that we've gone into the place that really, it seems, makes you the whole Bess, the vibrant Bess, the cells that are vibrating Bess. And you look at that, and then you look at the situation that was at work with this woman. Now that you look on it from this position, how does it seem?
It's minuscule, probably, because I have I'm a person that analyses all the time. So, and now talking about it, it's made it even more minuscule.
Right, minuscule.
Yeah. So just tiny.
Yeah. And that tiny means what to you now that you say it is tiny?
Letting it really go.
Really letting it go.
I mean, really letting it go.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good with things that annoys me or makes me weary, because I'm very good at reading people's body language. Very good.
Right.
And And then, what do they say? The percentage of body language is the highest on the list, isn't it? It's what you say comes to almost to the bottom.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm very, very good. So, I really am good at adapting myself. But there are some things, and it depends on how you're feeling yourself. Like, I can have chocolate sitting on my bench forever and I won't touch it. And saying that, if I do touch it, I binge and I get up with a headache in the morning.
Right.
So the chocolate's been sitting on my bench for nearly 6 or 7 months unless the kids come here and they eat it all, and I don't mind that. Yeah. So, but, and if I get up with a headache and I go to work, of course I'm going to be vulnerable.
Yeah. So we're talking about a really thoughtful self-care, aren't we? We're talking about one that is really inherent in you, which is the spiritual self-care. We're talking about the psychological self-care of now I know a process and we're putting it in the weeds. You know, those are weeds now. And we're talking about a whānau self-care that wraps around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're my biggest. You know, we put God first, but it's almost like I put my whānau there, but they're just under. You know, because they're my life force.
Yeah. You also said too in the beginning that your position is one that you juggle a lot between your clients and other agencies and your workplace and meetings and
the pastoral care.
And the community ministry.
Prison.
Yes.
It's huge.
So there's a lot of balls that you're holding in the air at any one time, isn't there?
And then on top of that, administration.
Yeah.
Which who likes? But we're accountable. We've got to be accountable.
Yes.
So yes. Yeah. It can take 2 hours just to get reports done.
Yeah.
And then there's my travel, if it's to Cromwell, to Roxburgh, Omakau, and that's half an hour each way, or 20 minutes to half an hour each way.
Right.
So if you're going to see a client, you try and, in Cromwell, you try and see 3 clients or 4 clients to make the trip worthwhile. And only work 30 hours a week. Oh, sorry. I get paid 30 hours a week, but I do 40. Easy, even over. But you know what? I love what I'm doing. I love it. I appreciate what I'm doing. God put me there for a reason.
Okay. And that reason that He's put you there
is to ensure that I'm there to support people who need that support. Who knows, I might need it one day.
Yes. But the thing is too, you know, like that metaphor, you mentioned that beautiful metaphor about the weeds. There's another one that sort of comes to mind at the moment, which is the plane that's nosediving, you know, the oxygen masks. So, you know, most mothers would say, oh no, I put it on my children. You know, we need to look
at ourselves.
And our wairua.
So important. It's
and
so important.
You've heard about the tapawha.
Yes. Think of the tapawha model and you're okay.
Yeah.
And those 3 principles of the tiriti o Waitangi, the participation, protection, and I never remember the other one, ensure that you're doing all that as well. You're okay. You look after yourself. Sometimes women are not very good at looking after themselves because they're nurturers and they take care of everybody else. I know I'm very good at taking care of myself.
Well, you've expressed so much today in this session around your noticing. You know, you notice that you get anxious and you notice that in certain circumstances it's worse than others. You notice in certain it's better than others.
Yes.
And we talked around the difference of what makes one
Yes.
and the other.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, it's important.
Yeah. And then self-care, self-protection. Yeah.
I think that self-care, the self-care wraparound is very, very important when you're dealing with 90% of your clients who present with unwellness, mental unwellness. You're dealing with staff that are not trained, with people especially, but then they've got their own very good skills.
Right.
Yes. Very, very, that's very important.
Yes.
But you can also be working with people who don't take the extra mile to help people.
Yeah.
But then again, we're all different. So, and I would like to stress again that people who are not trained, they've got some very, very valued skills.
Okay, so even in that situation that can be quite difficult at times, they still bring to the party, bring to the table some good skills.
Very, very important. And then I think too that we can be the model for others, and others can be the model for me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so
that
this is a two-way
thing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's what you learn on the marae.
Yeah. And
tato.
Yeah, and nothing therefore is no, it's all tough.
Yeah. You've got it.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware of the time, Bess. Yeah.
Thank you. I feel so much better now, much lighter. And even talking with you, I can hear what I'm saying and think, oh, I never thought of that before. So I have dealt with some stuff, and I'm able to now implement some things that maybe I can put into place, or not maybe, that I will be able to put into place. And that's probably in terms of being more aware of others' behaviour change when they're not feeling well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't need to go in boots and all and say, oh, how can I help you? Or what's wrong with you?
Are we talking about putting in the weeds again?
Yes.
I love that metaphor that you came up with. We'll just throw them in the weeds and make
good compost.
Well done. Okay. Well, go well, Bess.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cathy, for giving your time for us to meet. Thank you very, very much.
Wonderful that was.